Welcome to this week's Light Relief, and this week we are going to cover the power of good questions, particularly in HR. And the reason why we do this series is we're trying to help our HR community to have fun in the workplace and help them with some top tips. So we're talking about good questions. I'm Jeanette Ramsden. I'm Jeanette today.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Exactly. You never know, do you? It's just it's like a mixed bag of Percy Pigs, really, and Friends, isn't it? You're not quite sure which Percy Pig you're going to get. I'm Jordan Barry-Bayliss.
Not the gluten-free.
not the vegan ones, no.
And I'm Kelly York.
Lovely. So, what good questions do you know?
So you know what's really interesting that you've talked about this, because I was with a team, an HR team, last week actually, and we're talking about what does the future look like for HR people, and what are the skills. They asked me what skills do I think was really important, and I said actually, this is really important for me as a coach, great questions are really powerful. So if you think about the psychology behind making a statement, you don't have to respond to a statement. Statements piss people off because they can be loaded with opinion, they might needle people. If you ask it phrase it as a question. So normally when I'm giving when I had to have really difficult conversations, which is every day as a CPO, let's be honest, including with executive committee members, that's really interesting perspective. Tell me what's behind that. Okay, so if you're in my position, then what would you be doing differently? And what experience have you got of doing this that you can actually help me? You can't. Oh, that's funny then, isn't it? But I used to use that to my advantage, because I do think great HR people, and it's a buzzword, ask great questions.
And take the time to do it, because sometimes it's just too easy to wade in and give an opinion or make a statement. When actually to get into the root cause of the problem is really
and it takes the demand out of things as well. You very often you come up against something and someone's demanding something from you, and you don't necessarily understand or know what that is, but you're expected to run off and do what you need to do. And I think giving those, taking the time to ask the sensible questions actually gives you what you need to do the job well as well.
I'm just thinking about something that happened this week actually. I was asked to pitch for a really big piece of work for executive development for a well-known company, and we'd got this kind of half-baked request from a senior talent person in the business, and I said, what stop? How can we pull a proposal together based on this information? So if the company's not prepared to give us access to the CEO and the HR, the CPO, to ask the right questions in order to come up with a proposal that really works, then why are we working with them? And then there was just kind of like silence, because I said, is that good enough for us?
No, it isn't.
And actually questions, and so I think so often I've seen in businesses, and leaders do this all the time. They make statements or half-baked ideas of what they think they want, and then they've got whole teams of people running off doing stuff, and it's all wrong, and it's a waste of energy and time. So I like that point, Kelly, actually, on efficiency and productivity.
Yeah, and it ensures you get to the right end goal as well.
Yeah, of course it does.
What are you doing that for? And actually you need to understand that, because like you say, hundreds of people are running off doing this thing that no one really knows why they're doing it, which is a concern.
It's kind of quite helpful, isn't it?
It's helpful,
Why am I doing this?
And I think from another perspective as well is you obviously do have difficult conversations in the workplace, and HR being the root of a lot of that, because you pick up a lot of slack for things that go wrong, and actually throwing that question back when someone's demanding something from you and say, can you just explain that please? Or can you talk me through what you're trying to say again? It just deflates that kind of really aggressive conversation.
Had a real aggressive person.
Yeah, I liked this example.
We had some feedback, shall we say. It wasn't feedback, it was just downright rudeness actually. From a client. And actually I heard one of our team members turn around and just say, sorry, can you say that again? Because if they have said something rude and they have to repeat it, it does take the wind and the aggression out of a conversation that shouldn't really be taking place in the workplace. It's not professional. It's not. It's unnecessary. If somebody's done something wrong, then that's quite a different thing. There's no need to be rude and asking that question. It's quite a good one.
Yeah, because are you really going to repeat that because it's so rude? And it is interesting. I'm not sure whether there's enough of an affinity or an appreciation of the power of great questions. It takes the sting out of stuff. And I talk about this a lot. I particularly talk about it if I am am working with or I've led senior teams. Make sure you're asking the right questions and don't go in with a statement. Phrase it as a question. And I've practiced with them because I do this every day as part of my role. But one of the other pieces of work I'm doing at the moment, which is really interesting, which is within an investment bank, is I've kind of gone in, gratuitous plug, I've gone in as an independent performance coach working with our executive committee, and the CEO has made a very clear statement and aspiration and said, right, my expectation is that in order for us to be highly functioning, we have to be able to perform. And the problem with our performance at the moment is there isn't enough trust around the table and people are not having honest conversations. And all I'm doing, we've done a stakeholder map for each of them. So who on the executive committee are you closest to? Who do you have the most fractious relationship? And I'm helping them have the right conversations through coaching them. But a lot of this, that is asking questions. So all the while they're learning how to do this, it's building their muscle and capability. Because I think this is a basic requirement of good leaders. You should be able to ask really good questions. And it doesn't...
Are you going to ask a question of me, so?
Would you want me to ask a question?
I thought you might get around
Where
to
did you
it
get
at
your
some
brooch
point.
from? That's lovely.
My bean milk Scott.
Yeah. I feel like she will be sat here in a minute and she'd have gone. She'd just burp straight up into the sky.
I was kind of meaning to do with HR and what a good question might be, rather than where did I get my brooch from, sort of thing.
So I think a lot of it is during conflict. So differences of opinion. I completely appreciate your.
I'm going to share my question.
Go on.
That I like asking is, what is it that you want to tell me that you haven't done?
And do you in an interview scenario?
It can be very useful in an interview scenario.
Like that.
We do recruitment. But also in somebody's when you're managing conflict and you're trying to resolve issues between two parties, really get into the root cause of the problem again by asking the question of what is it that you should have been telling me that you haven't done, and so that we really do get through all of these.
I think some of it's about environment again as well, though, isn't it? So we have a thing in Curve where we say there is no stupid questions. So I think encouraging and creating a safe environment again where people are confident enough to ask that sometimes the stupid question that actually you do need to fulfill on the task that you're asked to do. So I think it's about also encouraging people's confidence around that is really important.
And I'm a bit naughty sometimes. I get to make sure that my message is landed with the people working for me. I will say, so just repeat back what the objectives and the outcome of today's meeting is. Or I think what's really good, going back to the point of people taking instruction and running off and doing something without being completely clear on what the ask was. So my understanding of today's conversation is blah, 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 blah. Is there anything I've missed?
Quite.
So there's that contracting piece. So you're on the hook. Have I got the request really clear?
I'm going to drive you mad with that one now.
You're going to use that all the time. I want a subsidy fee for that. I want a trademark thing. Yeah.
Well, I think that's quite a short session, but I think what we would love to hear is what your insightful and great questions are, because then we can share that amongst our HR community, because let's face it, we're all in this together. Your clever question, and we will share those out.
We can put them on the website.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we should do. So,
and actually, we're going to give a prize to the best question. I think you should.
Okay.
And I think maybe a week in the Maldives at Care's expense might be. I mean, or maybe that's not glamorous enough. Maybe we could do.
Somebody's big email.
I'll film in the background.
So not the Maldives then for the best question. Maybe a whisper. Or
I'll make a McGuinness cake. I want a prize for that one. So, anyway, thank you for listening. I hope you got a bit of relief from that and have had some interesting insights, if nothing else. We look forward to hearing from you very soon.
And I think just remember to just keep asking great questions. I think that is really powerful, and it sounds really silly, but ask great questions. Really important.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.